like to invite the legislators to the chambers so that we can begin our Rules Committee. I'm going to call the Rules Committee of the Legislature to order and ask Legislator Muley to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Mike, could you call the rolls, please?
Thank you. Roll call for the Rules Committee. Legislator Sheila Bino. Thank you. Legislator Delia Derigi-Witten. Ranking Member Kavan Abrahams. Legislator John Drew Frey.
Here.
Thank you. Legislator Laura Schaefer. Legislator Rose Walker.
Here.
Chairman Richard Nicolello. We have a quorum, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. We start with the Rules Committee and we start with the contracts in the Rules Committee. After the contracts are done, we move on to the other committees, which will hear some of the committee items. I mention that specifically because I have 4 slips here for individuals who want to speak on the CSEA contract. That will not be called until Finance, which will be after a little bit of a while. As I said, we consider the personal services agreements, et cetera, with the county, so the CSEA agreement will not be called until Finance, so you may have a little bit of a wait. All right. As we always do, I'm going to call all the contracts before the Rules Committee at once. A19, A21, A26, A27, A28, A30. These are all resolutions authorizing the Commissioner of Shared Services to award and execute purchase orders or blanket purchase orders between the County of Nassau and Barnwell House of Tires, Matco Service Corp., Cogsdale Corporation, Malvasi Equipment, CDW Government, and Teletech Corporation. B24 and B27, these are resolutions authorizing the county executive to execute a contract between the county and H&L Contracting LLC and VRD Contracting. E97, E99, E100, E101, E102, E103, E104, E105, E106, E107, E109, E110, E114, U3. These are all resolutions authorizing the county executive to execute personal services agreements or amendments to personal services agreements between the county and SVAM International, H2M Architects, RealAuction.com, Elite/KSE, Vecchione and Connors, InSum Solution Corp., Raj Technologies, Berkman Hennick, Moody's Analytics, Jacobs Project Management, Lyro Engineers, Edmore Advertising, Rainbow Sound, and Milber Macris. E108 is a resolution authorizing the county executive to execute a use and occupancy agreement between the county and Luminosity, Inc. E111 is a resolution authorizing the county executive to execute a personal service agreement and an assignment of said agreement between the county and the Fund for the City of New York. Motion by Minority Leader Abrahams, seconded by Legislator Giuffre. So it puts all those items before us. Just one other item is the motion to untable, which is A14, the resolution authorizing the Commissioner of Shared Services to award and execute a purchase order between the county and HFT Management. Also moved by Legislator Walker, seconded by Legislator DeReggie-Whitten. That's a motion to untable. All in favor of untabling that contract signify by saying aye. 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 Those opposed? Carries unanimously. So they're all now before the Rules Committee. And let's start with the Health Committee, Health Department contract, which is A14. That's with HFT Management.
Good afternoon, Andy Simone, Health Department. This is A14-23, correct?
Yes.
So this is a request to authorize and award a purchase order for a sole source vendor for media campaign bus ads to promote and increase vaccine uptake to high-risk and underserved populations. It's 100% grant funded, and it's in the amount of up to $295,500.
Okay. Any questions on this one? Nope. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next contract is with Corrections. It's A30 of 2023 with Intelitech Corporation.
Good afternoon, Joe Jacovina, Deputy Commissioner, Information Technology. A30, 2023 for Intelitech Corporation. This is to authorize and award a purchase order to Intelitech for services to upgrade the current jail management system known as IMAX to a new version known as JMAX. IMAX is a client-server-based application utilizing 10-plus-year-old technology. JMAX is user-friendly, web-based application using current technology. JMAX is more efficient and covers the functional requirements of the National County Correctional Facility. This is a sole source procurement. The maximum amount authorized under this purchase order is $387,000. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Any questions from the legislators? Legislator DeReggie-Whitten.
Hi, I was just there recently. Do you include like cameras and things like that with this type of contract?
Cameras in the,
or is it just the data projection?
that's a separate project.
All right, so
But
this
we
is
are
really
working on that.
all right, because I can't believe that we still don't have cameras in the where the jail cells are in a number of rooms, and that there are sometimes only one guard in there.
Yeah, I believe
a time?
we're currently in the process of wiring the jail.
All right, so this security software platform is just for.
Yeah, this is record management. It just
All
tracks and retains all the data for a prisoner from their intake until they
Okay.
are released.
Well, that's important too, but I really think we need cameras in those rooms. I can't believe we can't watch to make sure that our correctional
Yeah, we are in the
officers
process of working on
Okay.
that. We're doing the wiring as we speak.
Perfect, thank you.
Legislator Schaefer.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Just curious, does the Correctional Center already have the internet capacity for it, or is that being upgraded as well?
Yes, we have internet at the correctional center, yes.
Enough for this, though, I'm just asking to support.
Yes, and we have the network also.
Okay, okay, great.
Any other questions? No? All right, thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next item is with the treasurer. It's 100, E100 with realauction.com.
Good afternoon, David Chang, County Treasurer. We're here for an extension of the contract with realauctions.com for 2 years. RFP was done in 2020. This is a revenue-generating contract. This is for our annual lien sales. Last year we sold over 4,000 liens, and the way it works is that they pay us $20, or we pay $20 and we get 10, and they take 10 as a fee. So it's a revenue-generating contract, and we need this to make sure that all the sales are done efficiently and quickly.
All right, thank you, David. Any questions? No? All set. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Next contract is with Budget E106 with Moody's Analytics.
Good afternoon, Andy Persick, Office of Management and Budget. E106 is an amendment to a contract with Moody's Analytics. It's another extension. We have an RFP going out, but we have a year to decide when we're going to do that, but the RFP is currently out, but we need the services in place, and this is just an extension of the current contract.
Okay. Any questions? No. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
E111, Probation Department and the Fund for the City of New York.
Good afternoon, Joe Shalero, Nassau County Department of Probation. This is an amendment and an assignment to the existing contract with Fund for the City of New York that provides the peer diversion pro-court program that we utilize as part of the Raise the Age program. It extends this contract through September of 2024.
Any questions? No. All right, thank you. Next couple of contracts with the Police Department. A19 of 2023.
Good afternoon, William Field, Inspector with the Police Department. Item A19-23, 2023 is a contract that was previously approved by the Rules Committee. This is to notify the Rules Committee that we requested an increase in total funding to the total amount of $1,770,000. The reasoning for this funding is just the cost of the movement of police department vehicles from sedans to SUVs has seen an increase. We've also seen an increase with our with taking over the ambulance maintenance. Those tires are also substantially more expensive, so it has caused our costs to go up.
Okay. Any questions on this contract? No. All right. You want to go ahead and present on CDW.
Item A28-2023. This is to authorize an award a purchase order for the Varonis Data Protection System between the Police Department and CDW Government, LLC. This is a system. This system is a software platform that allows the Police Department to track, visualize, analyze, and protect data on the network. It performs behavioral analytics and identifies normal behavior from cyber attacks. It will also be used to detect and uncover insider threats and potential data breaches. The total amount awarded under this purchase order is $967,526.85. It is funded by both grant and asset funding, and CDW was the recommended vendor.
There's a request to go into executive session on this item, which we will do at the end of all the contracts. But before we do that, is there anything that people want to ask in public? Okay. If not, then hang around, so we'll get that.
Will do.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks. Let's move on to the County Attorney's Office. First contract is with 2, it's with Vecchio and Connors and Cano.
Sorry, Mr. Libert is in the back chambers, so he should be on his way.
Okay,
I just saw him back there.
he's right there.
Good afternoon, legislators. Brian Libert from the County Attorney's Office. Sorry for the short delay.
Sure.
I understand that Vecchione is the first contract on.
That's it.
This is a continuing contract with the county's workers' comp provider. This is merely a year-long amendment. There is an RFP in process to select potentially a new vendor, so a new contract will be presented. This is just to extend the current term because there was a delay that we wanted to have covered and have the gap covered.
Okay. Any questions on this contract? So Legislator DeReggie Whitten.
Hi, do you know when you will be submitting a new contract or a new proposal?
My understanding, it is literally at the precipice of completion, so that is my understanding. I don't want to make any promises, but I am told it is virtually almost finished.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Nope. Why don't we move on to 105, which is with Berkman Hennick.
E105 is a contract
E105.
with Berkman Hennick for the Campbell matter. This matter was a federal litigation involving the death of an inmate.
Any questions on this contract? Nope. Why don't we move on to U3, Milba Macris.
This is a contract with Milber Macris. I'm going to not try to pronounce the third name for fear of mispronouncing it.
Lusadis.
Pusadis. I learned something today. This is a contract with Milber Macris, as mentioned, for a case which normally we would call ERPO, or the red flag law. The case was defended aggressively due to various different issues which have been described. And the case is now complete, and the county was successful in this case.
Thank you. Any questions?
No, that was good though.
All right. Very good. Thanks. All right. Well said.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Information Technology. First contract is A26 with Cogsdale Corporation.
Joe Jacovina, Deputy Commissioner IT. 826-2023 is for Cogsdale Corporation. This is to authorize and award a blanket purchase order for Cogsdale Corporation for the maintenance and support of the county's famous financial management system software. Cogsdale is a sole source provider to these support services. Term of the blanket is from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2026. The total 3-year cost, $583,619.48. The first year cost is $160,335.06.
All right. Any questions on this one? Legislator DeReggie Whitten.
I just wanted to make sure that the IG was okay with this. There was a question regarding, do you mind, is that okay if she comes up real quick?
It's just right there.
Hi, good afternoon. So the Cogsdale Corporation, their parent company, had a data breach. However, Cogsdale Corporation didn't have a data breach. So at this point, we're comfortable going forward. If you were going forward.
I know it's always very sensitive with them,
Yes.
with cybersecurity and all, but we're confident that whatever happened in Vermont or wherever, it has no impact on Nassau County.
Yeah, if I may, the Cogsdale themselves, their parent corporation, was breached. If we had hosted our data and applications on their hardware, we would have been susceptible to a loss of data. The entire financial system and data warehouse for the county is hosted at the Bethpage Data Center on county-owned IT and is protected by our county's cybersecurity tools.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks for that response. Any other questions? All right, the next one is E97, SVAM International.
SVAM International, this is an amendment to renew the term of the agreement and extend by 1 year the termination date from December 8th, 2023 to December 8th, 2024. SVAM has been providing consulting services to the Oracle PeopleSoft project.
Any questions? No. All right. The next one is E103, Insum Solutions.
E103 2023 Insum Solutions is a 2-year agreement with a 2-year renewal option for Insum to provide Oracle Apex consulting services. Apex is an Oracle tool that provides for quick development of applications. The tools allow the building of applications in-house within the county's unique requirements, such as police roll call. The county has over 150 Apex applications in production, and 80% of the county's departments utilize one or more of these Apex applications. Insum staff provides Apex training to the current county staff, assists in enhancements and upgrades of existing production applications. An RFP was issued for these services, and 2 vendors responded. This agreement is for a maximum of $4 million, including a renewal period, with an initial encumbrance of $400,000.
Thank you. Any questions? No, thanks. Last one for you would be E104, Raj Technologies.
Yes, Raj Technologies, E104 2023. This is an amendment to renew the term of the agreement and extend by 1 year the termination date from December 1st, 2023 to December 1st, 2024. Raj Technologies has been providing support for the services being provided for the police radio project. Funds for this project are out of Capital Project 50696, Local Municipality Interop Radio System.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? We're all set. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next contracts are with the Parks Department, starting with E108, Luminosity, Inc.
Good afternoon, Darcy Bellier, Parks Commissioner. E10823, presenting a use and occupancy permit with Luminosity, Inc. You'll recall we did a 1-year permit with them last year. Typically, a permit is not presented, but anticipated revenue will exceed $25,000, so we're presenting this for approval by Rules Committee. This permit will commence on October 1st, 2023 for 1 year, ending on September 30th, 2024, with 4 1-year renewal options upon mutual agreement to renew. 2023 and 24 event nights will be Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays for their light show in Eisenhower Park, running between November 9th and January 7th, with the exception of all holidays. Fees payable to the county are a $10,000 permit fee upon execution, plus royalty on all ticket sales, $3 per adult, $1 per child. You'll recognize that that's a little bit less than we took last year. But we've also cut out of the permit the cost that the county were going to be responsible for, so our net should be about the same based on attendance and weather.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any questions? Nope.
Thank you.
This next one is E112 with Ed Moore Advertising.
Yes, this is an amendment, number 2, to the service agreement between the county and Ed Moore Advertising Agency, Inc. The original agreement was approved by this body on March 1st, 2020. Amendment number 1 was presented and approved in July of 22. Amendment 1 extended the term expiration to February 28, 2025. That will remain unchanged, and added funds, Amendment 1 added funds received by the county under the Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Funds under the American Rescue Plan Act 2021, or ARPA. Today, I respectfully request that an additional $500,000 of ARPA funds be added to this contract, and no other terms will be amended.
Okay, any questions on this contract? Let's set it by now.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Hi, good day,
Hi there.
Commissioner. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. First, congratulations on all of the successful events you pulled off this summer.
Thank you.
I don't begrudge us an opportunity to have our residents come and celebrate the summer season with us with these concerts. My concern is the $500,000 of ARPA money that would be used for that purpose. There are many good programs and services that are in need of some additional funding, and for us to be in this moment moving forward with such a large amount of money to be earmarked for, in some cases when you compare the two, when you look at all the community services and the supportive services that are needed in our communities versus, you know, having these concerts in the park and other county events, it seems somewhat lofty. We really have some significant needs that are presenting themselves in our young people and our elderly. We're seeing that we have homeless people that are, I just left a meeting in Lakeview at the library with the MTA where they want to remove all the trees from the Lakeview train station because people are sleeping under those trees and in the brush. I don't begrudge us an opportunity for these concerts. I attended one of them and really thoroughly enjoyed myself. But we're holding back from funding services that are essential, that are critical in the face of all of the adversity that we're meeting. And for $500,000 to go to this service with deaf ears falling on our requests for funding to go to the organizations that could help us, that could be boots on the ground, I think it flies in the face of what we have been advocating for. I'm shocked that we would even come down here today with this type of item, knowing that we're faced with all of these issues, using ARPA money. So I have questions about even how has it benefited us based on tourism? Have we been able to look and see that and determine that we have been able to earn enough sales tax money from these type of expenditures and investments in these type of events? I think we should have some of these questions answered before we start putting $500,000 of ARPA money toward this type of expense when we know we have homeless people sleeping in our train stations. We have young people who are facing suicidal type of tendencies and ideologies on a regular basis, and we have senior citizens that are crumbling in despair. So I'm going to tell you that I think this is ill-timed. Do you have any questions regarding how much tourism dollars that we were able to generate from any of these events?
Our metrics have shown a great increase in the amount of visitors to the county based on hotel motel fees that are reported quarterly. And we also had record-breaking attendance at our events. Our attendance is up at all of our museums, pools, facilities. Not disregarding anything that you said with regard to ARPA funding in general. I have no hand in that. I just know that this is another amount of money in a wallet that was set aside in the ARPA funds, so to speak, for tourism advertising. This is not an additional ask of that overall ARPA funding. There was an amount earmarked by OMB for tourism marketing, and that's what this is for.
But you wouldn't be here if we had, as a body, agreed to that. It was earmarked, but we as a body haven't.
Okay.
You wouldn't be here if that was the
Okay.
case, am I right? Okay, and so the correlation between the increase in the use of parks and our other amenities here in terms of museums, does it tie back to these events? Are we able to tie it back to say, when we had the event, with Boys to Men, we saw that folks came and they went to the museum at the same time? Or
I think it's tourism advertising in general, not just specific to those events, and that's what this contract's for. You'll recall that $150,000 per year to this contract is from hotel motel funding, and then it was supplemented for the tourism piece for ARPA, and that's for programs, events, and facilities that we use the contract
And
for.
again, I don't discount the benefit of that.
Right.
but I just know that it does not compare to the magnitude of the issues that we're facing in other issues in other facets of managing a county. And I just don't know that that's the best use of ARPA money. I just think we're going down the wrong path here if we just keep looking at this one-sided. Our community organizations got a small little increase to what they receive on an annual basis to provide services to a county that's reeling from, you know, the impacts of the pandemic. I know this is, I'm giving it to you right now, unfortunately, as the issue, and I know that you don't have an overall say, but I am concerned about how we're using ARPA money. There's so many other needs that need to be met. I mean, we've asked even for funding to go to Nassau Community College to assist them in their decline and their deficits and issues that they're facing there. We're not even getting money to go there, but we're willing to put money in this pool. I, for one, can't support it. Thank you.
Any other legislators want to be heard? No. Okay. All right. Why don't you move on to the next contract? 114 with Rainbow Sound.
Yes, E14-123 is Rainbow Sound presenting an amendment to a personal services agreement originally approved by this body in May of 2021. Amendment 1 was proposed and approved on January 17, 2023. This amendment seeks to amend only Section 3 of the original agreement regarding payment. The request is for an additional $75,000 to be encumbered only during the term of May 1st, 2023 to April 30th, 2024, for a total encumbrance not to exceed $150,000 during this term only. The reason for the increase is due to the rental of amplifiers for our system at Lakeside Theater. We had been ordering different parts, I believe, since 2020, and the amplifier pieces did not come in. So to avoid not putting up the new sound system, which we were greatly needed, we are renting the amplifiers from Rainbow, who we also use to supplement our existing sound and backline for the larger concerts. So we are going to exceed the cap, and no other section of this agreement will be amended.
With respect to the sound system upgrade, when will that be completed?
The amplifiers are due in by the end of October, so we'll be up and running for the next season. This was just a one-year short-term rental of certain components.
So you won't need to rent those components for next year?
Correct, which is why we're only doing it for this particular term.
Okay.
If permitted.
Legislator Richie Whitten.
Yeah, I got a complaint from one of our constituents, if you know who it is, that works with this equipment. Okay.
Okay.
So anyway, he said that all the equipment was kind of outdated. Is it just the amplifiers? Or?
So it was very outdated, and last year it really showed that, and we spent a lot more money with Rainbow, thus the original amendment, to supplement a lot of our regular shows even. All of the parts that have been ordered over time, global supply chain issue, have come in. It was just certain amplifiers that we didn't have, so we're renting them from this provider. Mm-hmm. And then once they're here, then we'll have a full upgrade.
So the rest of the equipment is pretty much
and
upgraded.
being used, yeah. It was just we didn't have, I didn't want to not use it for this season just because we were missing those components, so we made the decision to rent.
Okay, and again, the rest of the equipment should be all set for next year.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll report back to him. You know who it is.
We'll talk about it because I'm not sure who you're referring to.
Any other questions? Hearing none. Thank you, Darcy.
Thank you.
Our last bunch of contracts with DPW, starting with A21 and Matco Service Corp.
Good afternoon, Ken Arnold, Department of Public Works. A21 is a service blanket order for central air conditioning services. 2 bids were received, and Matco was determined to be the lowest responsible bidder. The contract is for 1 year with extensions, and the contract cap is $1.375 million.
Any questions for this one? No, let's go right, the Malvisi, A27.
So A27 is a blanket order for the rental of street sweepers. This is a 5-year agreement, has a cap of $5 million. Monthly rent of the street sweepers is $11.9 thousand. This is a sole source, as Malvasi is the sole provider of these sweepers in the region. Our anticipated usage is 1 sweeper per garage. The department is buying sweepers, which will take the place of this rental agreement. That's a future point, but the lead time for street sweepers is between 12 and 18 months currently.
So it's anticipated at some point that we will not need this rental. We will own the street sweepers.
Right. We may rent the supplement on occasion, but we won't need them as a full-time basis.
Okay. How many street sweepers do we have now?
We have 2. We had a rental contract with a company that we had PESH violations with. We had to terminate the contract, which is why we had to run out and put this rental out right away. So we were using a state contract in the meantime, but that we cannot use at this moment.
How did we get down to 2 street sweepers, considering the length and breadth of this county in our...
Well, we were renting them. We determined a while back that sweepers are high-maintenance vehicles, and they were down quite a bit, even when they're new. They're troublesome to keep up and running. So we went through a period of time that we felt that if we rented sweepers, the maintenance would be on the rental company, and we would just have to change the brooms. And that's what we've been doing. Unfortunately, the sweepers were very poor that were given to us, and we had issues, and it led to some PESH issues, and then we terminated that contract. So in light of that, we went back and looked at rental versus purchasing, and this time we'll look at purchasing sweepers this time through.
So you're in the process of going through
Yes.
purchasing street sweepers.
Yeah, the purchasing has, I think, a purchase rec for 5 right now. They're expensive, so, and then we'll supplement the rest with the new capital plan program that comes through.
Okay. Any other questions? Minority Leader Abrahams?
Thank you, Presiding Officer. So, Ken, you know, one of our constituents, she's adamant about streets being swept all the time, and now we have the rental agreement. But 2 things. One, I would like to take a look to see if we can work with our constituents to publicize the schedule. And I know that's difficult to do, and I know we don't do streets as often as potentially some of our villages, but if we can publicize the schedule, that would be helpful, even maybe so that people can know when their streets are going to be cleaned.
The problem is we sweep most county roads on a monthly basis, but it's all dependent on weather and availability of staff. So it's very hard for me to be at a certain road a certain date. We do that one place in the county. Legislator Schaefer knows well about that, where we have parking restrictions on Westbury Avenue, that we have to be there on that occasion. I believe Grand Avenue has the same that we try to meet, but it's very difficult for us to keep that type of schedule on a county-wide basis with many locations.
Okay. And if I heard correctly, we have 2 sweepers for the entire county that are ours, and the rest are going to be rental to try to keep up with the pace.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess the next point that we should probably take a look at, and this might be for the future, but we should probably, what are other municipalities doing in terms of street sweeping? Are they still trying to take on that responsibility themselves, or are they bringing in outside contract help to be able to try to assist in that?
In all cases that I know of, they're doing the sweeping themselves. I know there are municipalities that rent sweepers, like we did. New York State rent sweepers. You'll see sweepers alongside their equipment that's not theirs. But I'm not aware of anybody who brings in an outside person to sweep.
Okay. No, because I know you just mentioned that it's depending on staff and staff availability, so it sounds like we don't have enough staff to be able to try to keep
Well,
up
the
with
sweeping, remember, sweeping is a separate shift. It's not our normal shift. So if somebody calls in on the 3 a.m. shift, there's not another person to fill that spot. You'd have to give, union rules is 2 weeks notice to change shifts, so it's not like an automatic thing that we have people stand by that can fit that role if somebody calls in sick one day.
Okay.
We bring in the people we need for the sweeping each day, and that's their shift.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, look, if there's things that we can do to try to make it a little bit easier for the public to understand when their streets are going to be swept, it'd be helpful.
Yeah, I think if you want to talk about, I know what the road you're talking about, Uniondale Avenue.
Yeah, Uniondale Avenue.
If that was a road that we could mark for no parking a certain time of the month, and then we work towards that goal, I think that could be a conversation. But I can't expand that throughout the whole county. I can do it in certain locations where we have high issues of litter to pick up. And I think that's one of the roads that we have a lot of traffic.
Yeah, a lot of traffic on that
Yes.
road. Yeah.
So we could talk about that, but I don't want to promise I could do that throughout the whole county.
Okay. All right, well, we have to talk of that with the town to see if there's.
Yeah, if we can, yeah, we work with North Hempstead on Westbury Avenue in great detail, and then we had to bring the police in because people were still parking after all that was said and done. That impacted our ability to sweep, but that has been a success.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, appreciate it.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks. Let's move on to the next one. B24 H&L contract.
Yes. So B24 is a construction contract for the resurfacing Phase 75. This is a federal state funded project. We're receiving 50% of the cost for this project. It covers 7 lane miles of road. 3 bids were received. H&L was determined to be the lowest responsible bidder at $6.9 million. The DBE requirement, which is 10%, will be met by the contractor.
Any questions? No. All right, so that's next one. If you want to handle both, you can. It's VRD contracting. They're B27 and E107.
Sure. So B27 and E107 are both associated with the 2nd precinct. B27 is the construction contract for the new precinct. There were 7 bids received, and VRD was determined to be the lowest responsible bidder at $26.1 million. This is below the engineer's estimate by 13%. E107 is a construction management contract to provide inspection services and resident engineer services during the construction of the 2nd. This was also, as we had to declare the emergency on this project, for the CM services, we issued proposal only to our on-call engineering firms that do this work to expedite the process. We had 7 that we sent that out to. The technical review committee determined Jacobs had the highest technical ranking and provided a reasonable cost at $1.47 million. The duration of these projects is 16 months. They're being done under an emergency declaration, which was signed by the county executive in November of 22. I had updated this body in June about the process we were going to follow, which was to go through our normal procurement, but then issue notice to proceed prior to rules approval for both these contracts, which we have done. And we wanted to get these to the next available meeting, which was today.
Okay, thank you. I was wrong before. B27 is VRD and E107 is Jacobs. It's not both with VRD. So my only question with VRD is I don't recall seeing the name before, and they came in well below the engineer's estimate. Did the
Yes.
committee reviewing this feel confidence that they have the capability to do this?
VRD built, I believe, either the 4th or the 8th.
Okay,
They did one of our precincts prior.
very good. Any questions? So, Legislator Ridgeway.
Yeah.
You want me to address the SDVOB? Yeah, I'm sorry, 'cause I jumped around from
Sure.
my notes.
Yep.
So the question that Legislator Drucker had was regard to SDVRB, disabled veterans. VRB has submitted a company to cover the 6% best faith effort. So we will review that when it's submitted, but they have identified a company as part of their package for that work. And I provided that to Michelle a little while ago.
Okay. So basically, at this point, we don't know if the 6% for service disabled veterans is going to be met, but they're going to do a best effort.
And they actually identified a company that they plan on using. So I would expect to see that be submitted, and the value of that work I'll see in that submittal.
Okay. All right.
And what the department will do is, as we get some subcontractor requests, we'll go through our catalog of firms we've used in the past and ask if they've reached out to some of these firms.
Okay. Do we, if the 6% is not met or we can't substantiate why it's not met, do we are subject to losing any potential
No.
funding? Okay.
This is all county money, so it's best faith efforts.
Okay. All right. I have nothing further.
Any other questions? All right, so let's move on to E99, which is H2M Architects and Engineers.
Okay, so E99 is a design services contract for the blower facility at the South Shore Water Reclamation Facility, AKA Bay Park. This project will replace the blower facility to increase nitrogen removal at the plant. This is actually the last large major design services contract for Bay Park coming from the 428 program. We received 4 proposals. The highest technically ranked proposal from HDR had proposed a 2-year construction period, which was not found to be acceptable by the review committee once they got into the cost proposal review. So they were removed from consideration. That led us to H2M as the highest technically ranked firm and proposing a acceptable price. All this will be covered under our FEMA money we're receiving from the Bay Park.
Okay. Any questions?
Oh, MWBE is 15% here.
Okay, great. All right. Next one is E101 with Elite.
Yes, so E101 is one of our on-call construction management contracts. This is one of the 9 firms we were going to award to. I've been to this body prior with some of the other companies. The JV, the joint venture of Elite and KSC, along with their subs proposed, makes this contract 100% MWBE. They also have a SDVOB identified as a sub for cost estimating. This is a $1 million cap contract for 3 years.
Okay. Any questions? No. All right. And that last 2 are with Lero, 109 and 110.
Yes. So E109 is an amendment to the Lero's existing traffic on-call contract. This amendment is for an additional 1 year at $709,000. This will allow us to finish existing work. This is a retroactive contract, but we did stop the work while we were having this being processed, so there's no outlay of money currently until this is approved. E110 is a new traffic on-call contract that replaces the one that we just amended. We had 17 firms proposed, 10 firms were being selected. A number of the firms have already come across this body. Lero is one of these 10. This contract has a cap of $10.5 million for a 5-year period. MWBE for the new on-call contract will be determined based on the assignments that are given.
Okay. Any questions on these 2 contracts? All right, thank you, Ken. So what I'm going to do at this point is, before we call the executive item, let's vote on the other items so that the department heads can go back to their offices. So which is oh, yeah, we're going to pull out the one that we're not going to do. What's going to executive session, A28. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, there's going to be a separate vote on that. Yeah. All right, so the other ones that I'm going to call right now are A14, A30, E100, E106, E111, E102, E105, U3, A26, E97, E103, E104, E108, E118, E114, A21, A27, B24, B27, E107, E99, E101, E109, and E110. Any further debate or discussion on those items? Any public comment? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, they carry unanimously. Now I'm going to call for a vote on E112 2023, which is with Ed Moore Advertising.
I make a motion to table.
All right. Do we have a second on that? Seconded. All in favor of the motion to table signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. So the motion to table fails by a vote of 4 against and 3 in favor of. So now let's vote on the items as that's before us. E112. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? That passes by a vote of 4 to 3. Now, with respect to A28, I ask for a motion for executive session moved by Minority Leader Abraham, seconded by Legislator Schaefer. All in favor of going to executive session signify by saying aye. 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 So we are in executive session. from executive session, we have this one contract, CDW Government, is A28. Does anyone have any further discussion, any public comment? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Carries unanimously, and we'll put the rules in recess. Next committee is Public Safety.
All right, at this time, I'm calling the Public Safety Committee to order, and I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Thank you, ma'am. Public Safety Committee roll call. Legislator Debbie Muley. Legislator Sheila Bino. Thank you. Ranking Member Delia DeRigi-Witten. Legislator John Ferretti. Legislator Mazi Palip. Vice Chairman Thomas McKevitt. Chairwoman Denise Ford. We have a quorum, ma'am.
Thank you very much. There are two items on the agenda today, which are clerk item numbers 264-23 and 268-23. Clerk item number 264-23 is an ordinance supplemental to the annual appropriation ordinance in connection with the medical examiner. May I have a motion? Moved by Legislator Bino, seconded by Legislator McKevitt. The item is before us. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Karen Deling, Assistant Director, Crime Lab for Medical Examiner's Office. The item before you consists of 3 different grants. 2 are for the Toxicology Laboratory. 1 is for the Crime Lab. The first for the Toxicology Lab is the 2023-2024 Highway Traffic Safety Grant in the amount of $36,000. It's a federal pass-through, no match. It's used to support alcohol and drug testing in suspected DWI cases. The second grant is the 2023-24 New York State Aid to Lab grant. 1 is for the Toxicology Laboratory. That's in the amount of $2,108. The other is for the Crime Lab, $504,885. And that grant is used to support accreditation and operations, enhance the effectiveness and the efficiency of lab testing, and also used for reoccurring accreditation costs.
Thank you. I just want to go back to the 36,000 in regard to the DWI, the drug and alcohol testing.
Sure.
Are you able to determine the amount of drugs that are in a person's body, or I know with alcohol you could determine an alcoholic level, but how about drugs? Or do you just look for the presence of them?
So I know the drugs are compared to certain standards.
Yeah.
Since I'm not a tox
person,
I'm
I'm not going to get into
aspect.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can. I believe they can quantitate the amount in blood.
Okay.
And that's what the toxicology lab works with. They work in blood levels.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any debated discussion? No. Any public comment? Okay. I see none. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. All those in favor of passing this item, please signify by saying aye. Aye. The item passes unanimously. Thank you. Clerk, item number 26H8-23 is an ordinance supplemental to the annual appropriation ordinance in connection with the Correctional Center. May I have a motion? Moved by Legislator Georgie Whitten, seconded by Legislator Pillow. The item is before us. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, legislators. Narda Hall, Correctional Center. Item 268-23 is a supplemental appropriation request for asset forfeiture funding and the GIVE award. The asset forfeiture is for $184,916 to be received from the Federal Drug Enforcement Agency deposited with the County Treasurer. The amount and timing of the receipt of the funds is dependent on the amount of seizure as well as completion of pending investigations and convictions. The funding will be used for K-9, handlers' expenses, training, equipment, kennels, fencing, transportation, food, veterinary services, etc. The Gun Involved Violence Elimination Program, GIVE, is for $35,769. Funding is received from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services. The grant focuses on reducing violent crimes through coordination with the federal, state, and local criminal justice agencies. The funds will be used for overtime, training, investigations, information sharing, and meetings for the Gang Intelligence Unit. It is for a period of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? No? I see none. Any public comment? No? All right. Thank you. All those in favor of passing this item, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The item passes unanimously. Okay, there is an addendum to this agenda. Okay. May I have a motion to suspend the rules? Moved by Legislator Pillup, seconded by Legislator McKevitt. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All right, the rules have been suspended. There's one item on the addendum today, which is clerk item number 270-23. Clerk item numbers 270-23 is an ordinance supplemental to the annual appropriation ordinance in connection with the probation department. May I have a motion? Moved by Legislator Millay, seconded by Legislator Bino. The item is before us. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, members. Douglas Landsman, probation accountant. The item before you, 270-23, is for our annual GIVE grant for 1 year, July to June, the amount of $400,000. This grant has been in existence for 10 years, serves an important role in trying to remove guns and other weapons from our streets, control gun violence. GIVE's goal is to reduce shootings and homicides by promoting integrated evidence-based strategies that look to reduce crime in neighborhoods. While coordinating with the county PD, our team is comprised of 6 probation personnel. It's a combination of GIVE gang officers, supervisors, and an assistant deputy director overseeing operations. The grant provides partial reimbursements for salaries, fringe, OT for surveillance, GPS monitoring, software for background checks, and a small amount for training, travel expenses. The second item that we have for this 270-23 This item is our annual STIP grant, our Supervision and Treatment Services for Juveniles program. This is the RTA portion of it. It's a 1 year, October to September, in the amount of $635,000. It is 100% reimbursable. This grant has been in existence for over 10 years. It's part of the Governor's Initiative for Juvenile Justice Reform. The targeted population is youth who are alleged juvenile delinquents, JDs, and youth adjudicated to be persons in need of supervision, PINs. The purpose of RTA is to raise the age at which children are prosecuted as adults in the New York State court system. This is designed to give them a chance at a clean record for the future. This grant covers family court appearance officers overtime, CBI, cognitive-based behavioral therapy, interactive journaling, and finally a peer diversion court program as well.
Thank you. So the one for the New York State Office of Children and Family Services. So when you're talking about the juvenile delinquents, is that those up to the age of 18 that this covers, or is it for the younger children?
Ariane Ryer, counsel for the Department of Probation. Good afternoon. A juvenile delinquent is anyone 17 and younger for certain crimes. Some 16 and 17-year-olds who are charged with violent felonies are not considered juvenile delinquents, but it could be anyone 17 and under.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any legislative Bino?
Thank you. Hi, how are you? Good to see you. I have a lot of questions, but I'm not going to do that to you today.
That's all right, I'm ready. Let's go.
Tons of them. I just like to know, year to year, has this grant increased or has it stayed flat? The both grants. And I'm particularly interested in the grant that allows for the GPS surveillance. I'm just wondering whether
Well,
that has...
GPS, it occurs both on the regular STIP and on the RTA portion.
Okay. So I'm wondering whether the grant is increased because...
It's basically the same.
It's basically the same. Are we using it a little bit more than we had been in the future? I mean, in the past?
We are using it much more than we have in the past.
Mhm.
So I think that with a decrease in detention, there has been an increase in electronic monitoring. So that is both in the juvenile world and everywhere else within the criminal justice system.
Mm-hmm. I'm just wondering whether the state has kept up with funding us appropriately, given the fact that this has increased.
Well, I'll just say that our funding has not increased and our use has increased considerably.
As I thought. As I thought. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All those in favor of passing this item, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Okay, the item passes unanimously. There is no other business in front of this committee. May I have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Legislator Millet, seconded by Legislator Dirigi-Whitten. All those in favor? Aye. This committee is now adjourned. Thank you. Planning is next. At this time, I will call the Planning, Development, and Environment Committee to order, and I will ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Legislator Arnold Drucker. Legislator Sela Bino. Ranking Member Carrier Solage.
Here.
Thank you. Legislator Denise Ford. Legislator John Giuffre.
Here.
Vice Chairman Thomas McKevitt. Here. Chairwoman Laura Schaefer. We have a quorum, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, we actually have two items on the agenda today. Clerk item 214-23. 22, I'm sorry. I thought that was right. Okay. And clerk item 278-23. Okay. So I'll start with 214-22. This is an ordinance making certain determinations pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act and authorizing the county executive of the County of Nassau to accept on behalf of the County of Nassau an offer of purchase from Green Tree Realty, LLC, of certain real property located in Uniondale, Town of Hempstead, County of Nassau, State of New York. Said real property known as Section 44, Block 77, Lot 47 on the land and tax map of the County of Nassau, and authorizing the county executive to execute a deed, contract of sale, and any and all other pertinent documents in connection therewith to consummate the sale. May I have a motion? Moved by Legislator Giuffre, seconded by Legislator Bino. Okay, this item is before us. Hi.
Good afternoon, legislators. Kevin Walsh from the Office of Real Estate Services. I'm joined by Patrick Gallagher, Deputy County Attorney, worked on this contract. This is a sale of a county building, actually an abandoned vacant building in the vicinity of Roosevelt Field Mall. There's a dead-end industrial street known as South Street just off of Stewart Avenue. We issued an RFP for this quite a while back, and we have a contract signed by the highest proposed offer, Green Tree Realty, which operates the Akbar restaurant. Our understanding is Akbar is interested in this property for additional parking and potential office space and storage space. It was unanimously, without conditions, approved both by the Open Space Committee and the Planning Commission, and that's about it. Any questions?
Legislator Bino.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Really not a question. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Legislator.
Just for the record, I think it would prove to be helpful if we did this. Could you tell us what the appraised value was for this property?
Yes, the appraised value for this was approximately, I think, $665,000. Factored in a potential demolition, which may or may not be necessary depending on how the buyer chooses to proceed. I think without the demolition, the property would be worth about $750,000. The sales price is in decent amount in excess of that.
And just for the record, the sales price is what?
$1,150,000.
There we go. So it's significantly above what was the appraised value, even with the demolition taken into consideration.
The appraisal is a little dated. It's been kind of moving on a little bit, but we did confirm with the appraiser that the market conditions are relatively the same as when the
I was
appraisal
going there. So I asked about the appraisal when it was actually undertaken, and it was undertaken, I guess, in 21. But the appraiser has stated, and if you could, for the record, just say it again.
Yes, so the appraiser did say that the appraisal still reasonably reflective of current market conditions, even though some prices have increased, right? We've been through a pandemic that had a value, and also now we're going through, unfortunately, rising interest rates and things as such. So we think it's still very, very much more than fair price to the county, very reasonable. And it's within the range of the highest price we were offered, but definitely in the range of the appraised value.
Okay, yeah, and I felt that the circumstances that the appraiser spoke to in terms of the rising interest rates and commercial loans actually being even higher than that, this value really would have kind of remained flat. So, and this is far in excess of what it was evaluated at earlier on. So I think it's a good deal for us.
It's a very central location. It's kind of an odd piece because at the end of the dead-end street and it backs to the Meadowbrook Parkway. It's not particularly a large site, so development would be very limited what you could do. So for the needs of that business, it serves a very good purpose.
That's right, but valuable to them. So,
Yes.
okay, thank you very
Also
much.
want to point out that the buyer is a, county certified minority women-owned business enterprise.
We like that too.
That's good.
Thank you.
Legislator Drucker, did you have a question? Okay, thank you. All right. Any other debate or discussion? Is there any public comment on this item? Okay, there being none. All those in favor of passing this item, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Okay, the item passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, before I read the second item, which is 278-23, I need a motion to suspend the rules. So moved by Legislator Ford, seconded by Legislator Drucker. Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay. Okay, this is, as I said, clerk item number 278-23. It's a resolution authorizing the county executive to execute an amendment to a use and occupation permit on behalf of the County of Nassau as owner to the Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center of Nassau County, Incorporated, as permittee for the use of space at the Wellwyn Preserve, City of Glen Cove, County of Nassau, State of New York. May I have a motion? So moved by Legislator Ford, seconded by Legislator Salages. Hi.
Good afternoon. Hi, Darcy Bellier again, Parks Commissioner. With me is Alan Mendel, who is the chairman of the board of the Holocaust Museum and Tolerance Center, presenting Amendment Number 3 to the use and occupancy permit issued by the county, which, as we know, is in Glen Cove on the county's Wellwyn Preserve property. The original agreement dates back to April 14, 2005. The first amendment was granted on June 9, 2008. And the second amendment was granted on December 14, 2009. This amendment seeks to amend the term, which runs from December 31st, 2015 to December 31st, 2035, to be extended for an additional 20 years so that the new termination date shall be December 31st, 2055. The parties may renew on the same terms and conditions for 2 additional 10-year periods upon mutual agreements, provided that the property is continually used as a museum and that a capital campaign is initiated and funded and funds used towards capital improvements. Additionally, the permittee intends to construct a new auditorium with these capital funds that will be initially raised. All improvements will be at the permittee's sole cost, pending approval of the county's Department of Public Works. The department will also maintain oversight of all work throughout, and all DPW guidelines will be adhered to by the permittee and their contractors. As noted in the documents provided with this filing, the Nassau County Planning Commission recommends approval of this amendment following a public hearing that was held on April 27, 2023, and the secret determination of the proposed capital improvement was classified as unlisted and issuing a negative declaration. The Rules Committee's support of this amendment is greatly appreciated.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Mendel, I know you had given me a public comment slip, so do you want to speak now?
If there are any questions, I'm available to answer any and all questions.
Okay, great. Are there any questions from the legislators or any debate or discussion? No? Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so all those in favor of passing item number 278-23, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The item passes unanimously. Okay, there's no other business in front of this committee. May I have a motion to adjourn? So moved by Legislator Ford, seconded by Legislator Giuffre. We are now adjourned. Thank you. Public Works is next.
At this time, I'll call the Public Works Committee to order. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll. Come on, clerk.
Thank you. you for your patience, Chairman. Roll call. Legislator Carrier Solage. Legislator Arnold Drucker. Ranking Member Celia Bino. Thank you. Legislator James Kennedy. Legislator Laura Schaefer. Vice Chairman John Giuffre. Chairman C. William Gaylord III.
Present.
Thank you.
So we have a quorum. There's one item on the agenda today, which is clerk item number 266-23. Clerk item number 266-23 is an ordinance supplemental to the annual appropriation ordinance in connection with the Department of Public Works. May I have a motion? Moved by Legislator Giuffre, seconded by Legislator Schaefer. Thank you. The item is before us. Commissioner Arnold from the Administration, Department of Public Works.
Good afternoon. 266-23 is a supplemental appropriation associated with grant funds received from the FTA with respect to our TransDev operation. The supplemental appropriation is for a total of $46.7 million. This covers operational assistance, procurement of rolling stock, capital improvements to facilities, and to keep the equipment in good standing.
Is there any debate or discussion from legislators? Any public comment? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The item passes unanimously. Oh, you got to speak up, legislator.
You're a little quick on the trigger there.
Gotcha. The floor is all yours.
Thank you, Chairman. Ken, thank you. Can you give us an update on the status of the RFP?
The RFP, I would expect to be at the next Rules Committee meeting.
Can you give us an update today?
As we have gone through our procurement process, we've made our recommendations, and the package is being finalized through the system, and the recommendation of award will be packaged with the new contract will be sent to the ledge shortly, which will be called on the next meeting.
Okay. Could you just answer for me also regarding this item, $46.7 million? How does that compare to grant funding in previous years?
I believe it's roughly the same. I can double check, but they're pretty consistent with the money we get from FTA. It might be slightly higher, but I can double check and get back to you for the next meeting.
Thank you, Ken.
Legislator Bino?
Thank you. Ken, could you tell us a little bit about the timeline that was associated with that RFP that was issued regarding the bus?
The timeline of the RFP that we just were processing?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
when was it originally issued? And
it was issued, I think it was issued just before right around the New Year.
Of 2023.
Yeah. Right, I think it was the end of 22, early 23, we issued the RFP. We've gone through, we had interviews, we went through site walkthroughs. We had a committee put together from various agencies of the county. It wasn't just Public Works. And from that, they made their recommendation, and that's what we're processing right now.
Okay, and the timeline was that we were supposed to go through all of the different cycles of, these inspections and Q&As from folks that submitted, and then we were originally supposed to render a decision in what time frame?
We're probably a touch later than we anticipated, but the contract starts beginning of 24, so we're still on track to be done by that point.
So
I think our calendar might have had us submitting the contract a month earlier than we are, but
only a month earlier?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
We're not that far off what we thought, because the contract has to be in place by the beginning of the year, and that's what we're still. If we get to this body, the next 2 sessions, because I believe that this contract will go to both committees and full, because it's a larger contract, and then the control, the knife and board will have to have a meeting for it in probably October, early November, which will get us right on track to have the contract in place by the beginning of the year.
Okay. I have some other questions, but I believe it would probably compromise your process in terms of.
Yeah, Yeah, I would ask that anything on the contract, wait for the contract to be presented, and then just do like, like we normally do during that screening period. We can answer as many things as possible, and then answer the remainder on the floor as we go through it.
Okay, this
Yeah.
is not necessarily contract specific, but I'll leave it. I do agree
Yeah,
with you.
I mean,
I'm better
Yeah,
served
we're
not asking.
anticipating, a lot of back and forth on this contract, because it's probably one of the biggest contracts the county procures.
I just
If-
hope with this tight time frame that we're gonna have enough time to get through all of that, but thank you.
Yeah, I would expect it would be fine.
Okay.
Real quick, Chairman, how many proposals did you review for
We received 2.
2 full proposals?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any public comment? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The item passes unanimously. There being no further business in front of the committee, may I have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Legislator Kennedy, seconded by Legislator Bino. All in favor? This committee is now adjourned. Health will be next, led by Chairwoman.
Thank you, Colonel. And I'd like to call the Health Committee to order and ask the clerk to please take the roll.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Legislator Joshua Lafazan. Legislator Arnold Drucker. Ranking Member Delia Dirigi-Witten. Thank you. Legislator C. William Gaylor III. Legislator Thomas McKevitt. Vice Chairman Mazi Palip. Thank you. Chairwoman Rosemary Walker.
Here.
We have a quorum, ma'am.
Thank you. There is one item on the agenda this afternoon. It is Clerk Item 267-23, an ordinance supplemental to the annual appropriation ordinance in connection with the Health Department. May I have a motion by Legislator McKevitt and seconded by Legislator Drucker. And the item is before us. How are you?
Good afternoon. So there are actually 5 items in this 267-23. Again, sorry, Andy Simone, Health Department. It contains 5 supplemental appropriations that are all grant funded from the New York State Department of Health. The first is for the lead poisoning prevention program in the amount of $251,400. The second is for the early intervention administration program in the amount of $1,018,756. The third is for the tuberculosis prevention and control program in the amount of $103,438. The fourth appropriation are additional funds for the early intervention administration grant in the amount of $26,031. And the last one is a new incentive award for Article 6 that was awarded as an incentive to maintain high standards of reporting measures related to public health in the amount of $14,000. Again, all 5 appropriations are grant funded through the New York State Department of Health.
Any of the legislators have any questions regarding any of these? And we have seen a tremendous increase in the early intervention.
Yes, we have.
And I'm sure COVID didn't help that issue
No,
either.
COVID didn't help, and the lead levels changed, so we're getting more children into the early intervention program from those referrals.
Okay, thank you. Any public comment? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of these items, Clerk Item 267, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Then this will move on to Finance. There's no other business before this committee. Oh, just before you go, I just want to thank you for all you did this summer, and obviously summer somewhat continues. The closing of beaches, letting us know when, any information that you passed on to us. I really appreciate that. And
Thank you.
It was
And
a
again,
very
I will
busy
point
summer
out
for you.
Alyssa Zarabian, our PIO, that does all those communications as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And like I said, it continues with this hot weather. So, again, all those in favor of closing this committee signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Then we will move on to Finance. Finance Committee is next. didn't I just do that? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't say motion to. I said close the meeting. Motion to adjourn. By Legislator Gaylor, seconded by Legislator McKevitt. All in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye. We are adjourned.
At this time, I'll call the Finance Committee to order. All right, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Thank you. Legislator Joshua Lafazan. Thank you. Legislator Carrier Solage. Ranking Member Arnold Drucker. Legislator Rosemarie Walker. Legislator Thomas McKevitt. Vice Chairman John Ferretti. Legislator Denise Ford. Thank you very much, Vice Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. We have a quorum. May I have a motion to suspend the rules?
So moved.
Moved by Legislator McKevitt, second by Legislator Drucker. All in favor of suspending the rules, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The rules are suspended. First, I'll call the items that have been unanimously approved by earlier committees by consent. Clerk, item numbers 214-23, 264-23.
Help yourself.
Oh, typo there, sorry. Correction, 214-22. 264-23, 266-23, 267-23, 268-23. Uh, 270-23 and 278-23. May I have a motion? Okay, moved by Legislator Walker, second by Legislator Lafazan. The items are before us. Any debated discussion? There being none, any public comment? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the items pass unanimously. Clerk, item number 258-23 is a local law amending Title 24 of the miscellaneous laws of Nassau County in relation to extending the hotel-motel occupancy tax. May I have a motion? Moved by Legislator Walker, seconded by Legislator McKevitt. The items are before us. Mr. Persick.
Good afternoon, Andy Persick, Office of Management Budget. Item 258 is just a renewal of the hotel-motel tax that was passed by New York State. We have to enact local legislation which follows what the state did.
Thank you. Any debated discussion? Okay, there being none, any public comment? All those in favor of passing this item, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, items pass unanimously. Thanks, Mr. Persick. Item 259-23 is a local law amending local law number 18-1984, as last amended by local law number 8-2020, and is incorporated in Chapter 4 of Title 9 of the miscellaneous laws of Nassau County in relation to imposing additional rates of sales and compensating use taxes authorized by Section 1210 of the tax law and continuing a local government assistance program authorized by Section 1262-E of the tax law. May I have a motion? Moved by legislator Ford, seconded by legislator Salages. The items before us. Is anyone here from the administration? Mr. Persick, take it away.
Good afternoon, Andy Persick, Office of Management Budget. This is the local sales tax extender for 2 years, which provides the county and local government assistance to our neighboring municipalities with funding. We need the money. It helps us pay the bills, and that's really what it comes down to. So,
all right, that's a good thing. Any debate or discussion? Okay, any public comment? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed, the items passed unanimously. Clerk, item number 260-23 is an ordinance supplemental to an appropriation ordinance in connection with the county clerk. May I have a motion? Moved by legislator Walker, seconded by legislator McKevitt. Okay, the items before us. Mr. Butler.
Good afternoon. John Butler, Fiscal Officer, Nassau County Clerk Maureen O'Connell's office. Item 26023 is a New York State local government management grant for approximately $75,000. Our Records Management Division plans to digitize aging paper court files, which are permanent records from 1899 to 1992, a total of 1,062 civil minute books with these funds.
Thank you. I know it's a very important project, working with Maureen O'Connell and yourself for so many years. And, that's already been done from 1992 to present. And I know that Nassau County, at least at the time when I was there, is the only county in New York State that offers those documents online for no charge, which is an incredible service. So we thank you for that. And I'll certainly be supporting this. So thank you. Any further debate or discussion? Okay. Any public comment? Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the items pass unanimously. Clerk, item number 261-23 is a resolution to authorize the transfer of appropriations heretofore made within the budget for the year 2023. May I have a motion? Moved by legislator Walker, seconded by legislator Drucker. The items before us. Hello.
Good afternoon, Andy Simone, Health Department. Item 261-23 is a board transfer in the amount of $7,719 in order to maximize grant funding in the Adolescent Tobacco Use Prevention Act. It is 100% grant funded from the New York State Department of Health.
All right, great. Any debate or discussion? Any public comment? All those in favor of passing these items, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the items pass unanimously. Thank you. Clerk, item number 262-23 is a resolution to authorize the transfer of appropriations heretofore made within the budget for the year 2023. May I have a motion? Moved by legislator Ford, second by legislator Lafazan. The items before us.
Good afternoon, Ken Arnold, Public Works. 26223 is a budget transfer in our Traffic Safety Grant Fund. We are transferring $9,800 from our general expenses to contractual expenses.
Okay, thanks. Any debate or discussion? Public comment? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The item passes unanimously. Clerk, item number 263-23 is a resolution to authorize a transfer of appropriations heretofore made within the budget for the year 2023. Moved by legislator Drucker, seconded by legislator McKevitt. The items before us. Hi.
Good afternoon, Andy Simone, Health Department. Item 26-23 has 3 board transfers to maximize grant funding. The first one is in the amount of $7,354 for the tuberculosis grant. The second one is in the amount of $25,175 for the early intervention administration grant. And the third is in the amount of $1,127 for the children and youth with special needs care grant. The 3 board transfers maximize grant funding and are 100% reimbursable by the New York State Department of Health.
Okay. Thank you. Any debate or discussion? Okay, any public comment? There being none, all those in favor of passing these items, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the item passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, clerk, item number 265-23 is an ordinance supplemental to the annual appropriation ordinance in connection with the Board of Elections. May I have a motion? Moved by legislator Ford, seconded by legislator Salages. The items before us. Mr. Persick?
Good afternoon, Andy Persick, Office of Management Budget. This is supplemental in 2 parts. One is for $1.1 million, which will enhance technology in the Board of Elections, and approximately $285,000, which will be used for postage and absentee ballots. It's given down by the State Board of Elections, and it's going to help enhance some of the processing over at the Board of Elections.
Okay, thank you. Any debated discussion? Any public comment? Those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed, the item passes unanimously. Clerk, item number 269-23 is a resolution approving an amendment via memorandum of understanding to the collective bargaining agreement between the County of Nassau and the Civil Service Employees Association. Moved by Legislator Ford, seconded by Legislator Drucker. The item is before us. Briefly, this is a proposed contract between the county and the Civil Service Employees Association, the term of which is January 1st, 2018 to December 31st, 2030. Today, the Finance Committee will tee up the item for the purpose of moving it onward to the Rules Committee later today and the full legislature on Monday, September 18th, at which time the entire legislature will receive testimony regarding the item and ask questions. Mr. Persick, do you have anything to add?
I'll just give you, I guess, the 30,000-foot view on the deal, on the contract, and then we'll have further discussions. It provides for general wage increases over the 13-year period. I'm just going to read out the numbers. 2%, 2%, 2.5%, 2%, 3%, 3%, 2.5%, 2.5%, 2.5%, and 2.85. It is a 13-year contract, which provides stability, and it finally gives the civil service employees a fair and equitable contract. I mean, nobody leaves the negotiation happy, but I think the way this was structured and how it came out, I think made everybody happy. It was a large approval by the membership, so it was a good thing. In addition to the general wage increases, there will be a sign-on bonus for full-time employees of $3,000, $1,000 for full-time employees who don't work a full 35 hours, and $250 per part-time and seasonal. In addition, members who have 15 years of service will receive a stipend of $2,000. The other piece of this MOU, the membership will be switching from NYSHIP or other plans that we have out there to the NYSHIP Excelsior plan, which is a little different of a flavor than what we have. But to offset that, we will be putting about between $4 and $6 million into a healthcare reimbursement to help offset any costs that the employees may have. We are unfreezing the chart, which is unprecedented from the NYFA freeze, which I think people should understand that. We're going to the college chart with some caveats to it. It's being phased in over time. So there'll be a new step chart, which will bring the employees up to comparable rates from what we've been hearing a lot about, which should help in retention and help with the ability for people to move up and provide fair and equitable wages to our civil servant employees. In addition, there'll be a 20-year vesting period starting in 6/30/26 for health care benefits. There'll be a reduction in leave days of approximately 2 days from 1/24 to 12/31/26. The workday will be increased for 6.75 employees by 15 minutes, which is a managerial thing. We'll get an extra 15 minutes of work out of our employees. Termination pay will be capped at 1.5 of the base pay, of base salary, and the emergency leave will be capped for 4 days. In a nutshell, that's what the deal is. I will tell you that it was a long negotiation. It was hard and fast, but it took a little time because of the complexity of what was out there. But I think both sides are very happy with the outcome of what happened here.
All right, thanks, Mr. Persick. I'm sure there will be questions, but like I said, for purposes of this committee, we're just teeing this up over to the Rules Committee and the full ledge. But thank you for those.
Thank you.
Those words, absolutely. Any further debate or discussion from the legislators? We do have some public comment, so I'll call those. I have 4 slips. First, Kathy Muserino. Kathy Muserino.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I was hired to work at the health department in July of 2020. That was about a couple of months before I turned 59. I entered into an agreement with the county that I worked for 10 years, and I had this pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. It was called my health care. My husband is a first responder, so health care is very important to me. He developed lung cancer within 18 years of working down at the Trade Center. Now a contract comes into play. I've been in agreement for I just entered my 4th year. It was never a mention to me that 10 years would be ripped out from under me. All of a sudden, I'm told I have to be here for 20 years. I'm going to be 81 years old by the time I'm able to retire with any type of full benefits. This is unrealistic. People were always grandfathered in previous contracts. So what happened to us being grandfathered? My goal was 10 years. I was told, give the county 10 years. My goal was actually to do 11 or 12 years, depending on how I felt and what my health was. For my husband to turn around to me and say, I've never used the word forbid, but I forbid you to work until you're 81 years old. I'd like to spend a little time with you. I'm currently married for 43 years. This is just ridiculous. I'm not the only one that was hired in 2020. There are several people that were hired at my age. Had I been told that it was 20 years, well, that would have required the second conversation, because the first, of course, was the salary, which was $35,000 a year. And my thing was, can we afford to do this? He said, I want you to do this because this is what you've wanted to do. We'll be fine. And think about it. 10 years, 11 years, at least we don't even have to worry about some kind of supplemental health insurance. Well, I do have to worry about health insurance because even if I do get grandfathered, now I have to worry about a horrible health care plan that's not even going to cover the hearing aids that I may need because I'll be 81 answering phones, and I'm going to need to be able to hear these people when they call, correct? I'm just asking you to please put an amendment in there. Allow us to be grandfathered. We were grandfathered for years, all of a sudden. And who's to say that at the end of 13 years that they don't turn around and say, oh, we changed our mind. It's not 20 years. It's going to be 25 years. Please consider people like me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miserino. We wish your husband a speedy recovery. Thank you. Vivian Sasson.
Good afternoon. I, too, also work at the Department of Health. When I came to the Department of Health, I had a big decision to make. Not only was I overqualified for the job that I took, and was also getting job offers for substantially more money, I decided to take the lesser pay due to the fact that I would be, at 10 years, have my health insurance in retirement. I didn't take the job right away. I kept on pursuing it with the Human Resource Department, asking them over and over again, is this a benefit that I will be receiving? And they said, yes, you will be given the benefit if you work 10 years at the Department of Health or for the county. They advised me, so that was a very easy decision for me to make. Give up the money at another job and come and work here for the benefit at the end. I took the lower, I was appalled to find out that our union let us down and allowed for the benefit to be taken away from us. They have eliminated us, meaning anyone hired within the last 6 years, anybody in my age group, where I will be 78 if I stay here for 20 years. How can you hire someone under these false pretenses? This was told to us as a benefit that we would receive. Nobody ever said that it may be taken away. And I understand it's part of a contract. However, we were told this is what you get. You would get this benefit. They could have asked us, or they could have grandfathered us in or asked us to pay towards it till we made our 10 years. There were so many other ways around this. Do you have any idea how much it will cost somebody 60 plus to have secondary insurance? It would cost almost $2,000 a month. I looked it up. ARP, Forbes, you could look up any of them. It'll be approximately $2,000. That's at today's cost. That would bankrupt most people, maybe losing their homes, definitely not being able to live in Nassau County. Why should we be promised something and have it taken away, have the rug taken out from under us? I know I speak for myself, but I know I speak for others who are in my situation. You will ruin a lot of lives. We came here with the understanding that we were going to work a job, and we kept our end of the contract. It was a verbal contract, however you want to look at it, but we kept our end of the agreement. We are here working. We're doing our best. But now we have this ripped out from underneath us. I feel betrayed, I feel abandoned, and I feel that our union representatives did not really negotiate this for us and didn't walk away from the table without at least something on our behalf. We gave up a lot. We gave up 6 vacation days. We gave up 15 minutes. We gave up 15 minutes longer in the workday, 6 minutes grace period, and our insurance coverage went to thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Sasson. Jackie O'Loughlin.
Hi, my name is Jackie O'Loughlin. You're going to hear a lot of the same thing. I was hired to work at the Nassau County Department of Health in 2020. Prior to that, I was a speech pathologist for the state and then an independent consultant. Because of that, my husband carried the benefits, which were costing us over $14,000 a year. A friend of mine suggested that although the county does not pay the best, that I look into working for the county because the benefits are absolutely amazing, which is what I did. And I took several tests, and the first test that I was called for an interview was the Nassau County Department of Health clerk. When I saw the salary on the canvas letter, I was a bit shocked. The 2020 starting salary for a full-time clerk in the county was $22,803. If you are to do the math, that's not even minimum wage. When I interviewed, I questioned the salary, and the woman told me, yes, the salary is very low, but the benefits are amazing. The benefits was what I was there for. And on top of that, I was told that after 10 years, I would receive lifetime benefits for myself and my husband. I went home, I discussed this with my husband. The pay cut was significant, but I could not give up these benefits. It would have been foolish of me to give up these benefits, so I decided to work for the Department of Health in a renovated garage that has leaks, holes in the ceiling, rodents, and occasionally birds in the building. And I took less than a livable salary, and I gave this job 150%. On top of that, I took 2 more tests and advanced twice. And I am kicking myself because as of 5 months ago, I turned down yet again 3 school jobs offering more than twice my administrative salary on a school year calendar because I could not give up these benefits. I would be foolish. I weighed it out. I did the cost. I couldn't do it. I did what I thought was best for my family. And I was ready to give 10 years, maybe 15. I might give 20, but I don't know. Now I'm locked in to giving 20 years. I'll be on my deathbed at work. I never had a union job. I was so excited to finally have a job because I thought the union would protect me from something like this ever happening. And when that contract went through, I felt like the rug was pulled out from underneath me. And I really don't feel that I'm asking for anything other than what was agreed upon August 23rd, 2020, when I agreed to work here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. O'Loughlin. Susan Naftel.
Hello, I'm Susan Naftel. I am also at the Department of Health, although I was formerly at Nassau Community College. I just want to start with a definition. Contract, a written or spoken agreement, especially one concerning employment, sales, or tenancy that is intended to be enforceable by law. When I became a CSA worker, hired by Nassau County back in April of 2018, one of the agreements I made with the county was that after 10 years, I would be fully vested. There was an offer and an acceptance. This verbal contract informed my decision, as it did when I turned down jobs in school districts this last April after taking a promotional civil service exam. And I decided to stay with the county. I already had 5 years in and decided that the lower salary the county offered was balanced by the benefits. Now I'm off the list, and my options are 0. As the vestment was contractually agreed on by both the employer and the employee, I believe we should be grandfathered in. Let this new contract affect new hires, not me or us. As is the case with many of us, I am not 25. I was hired when I was 55. For me to reach the 20-year carrot that's being dangled as per this new proposed contract, I would not be able to retire fully vested till I'm 75, not the 65 that was originally agreed upon. This is unconscionable. There are others who would have to work into their 80s. How are we supposed to afford secondary insurance when we haven't had to plan on this added expense later in life? I would like this proposed contract to be negated or renegotiated with the stipulation of grandfathering in and applying this other proposition to the new hires, who can then decide if this arrangement is acceptable to them. It's definitely not acceptable to me and countless others. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Naftal. Is there any further public comment? As that's all the slips I have. So, as I stated before, this will be teed up in this committee. It'll be sent on to the Rules Committee and then the full legislature. So just so you understand how it works, the full legislature will meet on September 18th, same time, and so that's when we'll have time for debate and discussion, okay? Yeah. You got to come up to the microphone, though.
I'm really glad we all got to, those of us who were able to take a half day of work were able to come and speak to you. The next time, will we be allowed to speak again? Will our thoughts and our feelings be addressed? How does this work?
Yeah, so there's an opportunity before the meeting for public comment where you can speak on this if you wish. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All those in favor of passing this item, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The item passes unanimously. Clerk, item number 280-23 is a resolution authorizing the county executive to execute a grant agreement between the County of Nassau, acting on behalf of the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Museums, and the Baldwin Historical Society, Incorporated. Moved by Legislator Ford, second by Legislator Drucker. The item is before us. Hello.
Good afternoon again, Darcy. Good afternoon again, Darcy Bellier, Parks Commissioner. Again, presenting a hotel-motel tax grant agreement between the county and the Baldwin Historical Society, Inc. The term of this agreement is from May 1st, 2023 to April 30th, 2024. The requested amount is $6,000. The funds will be used to help support the Society's efforts in Baldwin, including the revival of an outdoor concert series and the creation of a Nunley's Day, celebrating the famed namesake Baldwin Amusement Park. This grant will be funded by the Hotel-Motel Tax Grant Fund.
Thank you. Any debate or discussion?
Thank you.
Okay. Any public comment? All those in favor of passing this item, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The item passes unanimously. Clerk, item number 245-22 is a resolution authorizing the county attorney to compromise and settle the claims of E&A Restoration, Inc. pertaining to contract number B90230P03G. Pursuant to the county law, the county government law of Nassau County, and the Nassau County Administrative Code. Moved by Legislator McKevitt, second by Legislator Lafazan. The items before us. Can I have a motion for executive session? Moved by Legislator Walker, seconded by Legislator Szilagyi. All in favor of executive session, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, we are in executive session. All right, we're back from executive session. Kind of. Okay, do we have any debated discussion on this item? There being none, any public comment? There being none, and all those in favor of passing this item, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? The item passes unanimously. There's no other business in front of this committee. May I have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Legislator Ford, second by Legislator Lafazan. All those in favor? Aye. All right, this committee is now adjourned. Thank you.
I'd like to invite all the legislators for rules back. We're bringing the Rules Committee back into session. Motion to suspend the rules by Legislator Walker, seconded by Legislator Bino. All in favor of suspending the rules signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Rules are suspended. First thing is the consent calendar, which is items that just went through other committees. There's no further need for debate or discussion on these items at this time. Item 214, 245, 258, 259, 260, 261, 262, 263, 264, 265, 266, 267, and 268 on the main calendar. And then on the addendum, 270, 278, and 280. I don't know if I called 269, but that's part of the items that are before us at this time. Any debate or discussion on the, good point. Motion by Legislator DeVigi-Whitten, seconded by Legislator Schaefer. Any debate or discussion on these items? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Carries unanimously. Item 256 is a resolution to confirm the county executive's appointment of Ashley M. Gazes to the Nassau County Advisory Council on People with Disabilities, moved by Legislator Bino, seconded by Legislator Walker. A debate or discussion on this? I guess we'll invite her to the full legislature, but in the meantime, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? That carries unanimously. On the addendum, we have a number of CRPs, 271, 272, 273, 276, 277, and 279. These are resolutions authorizing the county executive to execute an intermunicipal agreement with the South Farmingdale Fire District, the Incorporated Village of East Williston, the Incorporated Village of Plandale Manor, the Village of Stewart Manor, and the Incorporated Village of Lynbrook. Motion. I thought I called 279. Okay. Moved by Legislator Walker, and seconded by Legislator DeVigi-Whitten. Any debate or discussion? Any public comments? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? They all carry unanimously. And now a motion to adjourn by Legislator Schaefer, seconded by Legislator Bino. All in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We are adjourned.